Welcome, friends and family. Super excited to be coming to you from our Elevate studio. Today, I want to talk about the value of running towards what we love versus away from what we fear. See, when I think about this statement, run to what you love, not away from what you dislike or what you fear. In too many, it's just totally a different position. And when I think about this, I think most people will spend their lives reacting, trying to avoid pain, to avoid failure, to avoid discomfort, but very few people live deliberately running towards what they love. When I think about this principle, I immediately think about my wife, Lindsay. See, when Lindsay first came to America from Britain, it would have been easy to stay where she was comfortable, to be around the people that she was the most comfortable around, and leaving what she knew to come to America, where they actually drive on different sides of the road. That has to be a little scary, but not to Lindsay. She knew what she wanted. When her 10-day, I remember when she first came, and she had a 10-day visa. And when her 10 days were coming to an end, she told me, she said, I'm going to come back to America. And I thought to myself, I've heard a lot of people say they're going to do things and then not follow through. So when I said goodbye, I believed it was probably the last time I would see Lindsay. But in less than 6 months, Lindsay had already made plans to be back in America. And was, to tell you the truth, I was a little surprised that she had come back. And what attracted me wasn't just her, it was her clarity, her conviction, and her action. She knew what she wanted, she meant what she said, and she did what she said she would do. Today, that's rare. Why don't more people do this? Okay, so I thought, why does not more people run towards what they love? Comfort. Comfort's one of the biggest reasons. It's easier to stay where you are. John Maxwell teaches there are 2 reasons why people will change. 1, they hurt bad enough to know that they absolutely have to. Or 2, they learn enough to know they need to. Which one do you think's better? We've probably all experienced both. I know which side I would want to be on. 2, courage. See, it takes courage to step into the unknown. I think of my friend Nathan Green when I think about this. Nathan's been with our team a short while and was doing a great job, very good team member. And I remember recently we had a little bit of trouble with the lender that we're working with. And he said, truthfully, as much as you all are doing, you need somebody that can just service your team and your community specifically. And so, very politely said that. I thought about it. And Lindsay, my wife, again said, have you considered Nathan? Well, I knew Nathan was smart. He graduated with a degree in scientific mathematics. Knew that he'd had a background in doing some lending for 3 or 4 years. So I thought that's a great idea. Called Nathan, explained to him the situation, and Nathan's first words were, imagine how great that would be for your community to have your own lender to service specifically your deals so that you don't have to wonder about the service or what's going on. And you can have somebody in-house that's always actively serving your clients. Man, I love that answer because it would have been easy for him to stay in the position he was. But this is a man who is ready to grow. He had the courage to accept the challenge when the challenge presents itself. So I think a lot of people, instead of running after what they love, they remain in a safer place because they lack the courage. And then clarity. Most people never decide what they truly want. It takes time to do so. Too many people, I see it like this, too many people are staying a caterpillar when they could transform into fly and do so much more. But they try to stay on the ground instead of soaring. Too many people will not transform into the person or live out or fulfill their potential. So, how do we change? And that's a good question. Get around the right people. It is so valuable to get around the right people. Let me ask you, who do you know who's doing what you want to be doing? I highly recommend get as close to those people as you can. My friend Justin recently talked about wanting to become the best photographer that he could possibly be in shooting homes, using drone, getting the right angles. And so he reached out to somebody who has 15 years in the business and had not a 10-minute, but a 3-hour conversation so that he could get better. That's how you get better. You find people who've already been there, done that, and you get as close to them as you can. It's a simple principle. But again, that takes courage. It takes getting out of your comfort zone. It takes a little bit of humility, humbleness to make those phone calls, to do just that. Number 2, learn constantly. Read books, listen to podcasts, get as close as you can to your mentors. For me, what changed my life was John Maxwell books. I've only met the gentleman face-to-face 2 times. But I read books. I've put hours and hours listening to his material. And John Maxwell helped me transform the way I think. If you'd have went back and looked at me 15 years ago, I think differently. And I hope every year I'm getting a little healthier and a little better. My growth bug came from John Maxwell. That guy taught me that every day we should try to improve. Every day we should stretch and grow. We shouldn't be the same this time next year. And how are we going to be different? Me and my friend Duke Davis talk about this often. Only way we're going to be different this time next year is the books we read and the people we hang around with. Number 3, be intentional. Decide what you want to do and then go do it. Sounds simple, doesn't it? The work's hard enough. It should be simple. Challenge. So what I want to challenge you all to do is take this time this week to decide, what do you want to be? Decide means you got to prune off the things you don't want to become what you do want. Stop playing it safe. Begin taking risks. Start running toward what you love with everything within you. You got to have a little passion. You got to have a spark. You got to be engaged. If you lack passion, you're just going to go across like a zombie. Ho-hum. Man, that don't work. You got to throw your all into it. You know, I heard the story about the guy who, well, we all probably seen when the movie Stand By Me, and he threw his backpack or his hat or something like that over the fence in that junkyard. And that meant he had to go over there and get it. No, it was the ball. He threw his ball over there. That meant he had to go over the fence and get it. And sometimes we just got to go ahead and throw our hat over the fence, throw our ball over the fence. We got to get over the fence. And so when we're on the fence, that's no good. We got to commit with everything that we have, because that's when you're going to achieve greatness. Folks, I hope this helps in some way. If it does, please like and subscribe. Thank you.